4 pillars, how we are going to move forward, what exactly have been done, and what are the key framework of this data for development. So it's a 4-year initiative, but it depends on totally on the government, how government will take it forward at the national and provincial levels. Mahvish has a lot of copies. If someone of you would like to have and to read it and to understand more about the data for development, you can approach her and you can take some of the copies along with you. But Mahvish, keep only 5 copies along with you. The rest you can distribute it. Before we a moment to reflect on the remarkable journey that we witnessed yesterday. Day 1 of the Data for Development Symposium was truly a defining moment for all of us, for all the participants who are here, who attended this session, and those who are online, are those where the voices of this symposium will reach. We opened this symposium yesterday with a powerful message from our representative, Dr. Loy Shabane, who is actually the person behind this effort that we have initiated last year. Though the technical team, along with the STPI and all other partners who are part of it, they have put together all these pieces together. But the actual mind, the actual person who is supporting all this is Dr. Loy Shabane, the country representative. He reminded us that data is not just a number. It is a dignity, accountability, and the live realities of the people. These 3 key messages from his speech, it is very clear. The dignity, the accountability, and the live reality of the people. And all these 3 keywords has all its whatever we want to do with this D4D. Then we heard from Honorable Rana Mashmood Ahmed Khan, uplifting call from him. He emphasized that the new development what exactly he mentioned. He mentioned that the YDI launch people to hear their voices, to see what exactly they wanted, to be strategically planned for them. So the YDI launch was one of the most inspiring moments of the day, and a national commitment to place young Pakistanis at the center of development decisions. Our first technical session, they brought provincial leaderships together from Punjab, Sindh, KP, Balochistan, AJK, and GB, all regions and all provinces, to discuss how data-enabled planning can strengthen equity, inclusion, and service delivery. That was the focus of the first technical session. Message was very clear. Integrated, timely data improves coordination and ensures that the resources reach to those who need the most. That was a very clear message from the session. Then we had a second session. It shifted the discussions to the future of Pakistan's statistical system. That was again very important sessions. That where exactly the Data for Development initiative has to fix it. We heard from Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, we heard Provincial Bureau of Statistics, and UNFPA as well, on how reforms like the National Statistical Development Strategy, Digital Governance Framework, functional review of the statistical system, and the restructuring plan that we have planned for some of the bureaus, including the establishment of Balochistan Population and Economic Research Institute that we are going to establish inshallah in Balochistan. That lays the foundation for modern, future-ready national statistical architecture. We have so many activities, but some of these are the actual foundations that we are looking for. The third session, it showcased, in fact, the heart of data for development, the knowledge that we are producing, the research that we are undertaking, the people who are actually involved bringing knowledge upfront, what exactly the government need to take initiative in terms of planning, in terms of the policy formulations, because the findings from the research are very, very important. So that's why the session was, we consider it the heart of data for development. So academics from across Pakistan, IBA Karachi, thank you very much. FCCU Lahore, thank you, sir. NUS, Peshawar University, UTM, Quetta, all of you, thank you very much for your sharing your thoughts and coming to this very important symposium. This team have also joined by the STPI and UNFPA. They demonstrated how working paper, analytical reports, and youth-focused research can directly shape policies, planning, and public debates. Thank you, all of you, for this wonderful job that you are undertaking. Regardless of what kind of support you are receiving, but that's the actual, I call it, it's a voluntary service that you're providing to the people of Pakistan. So across all these sessions, one message echoed strongly. Pakistan is moving forward. Pakistan is moving forward a governance culture where evidence guides actions, where digital demographic and development choices are grounded in credible and accessible data. The data should not be only credible, but that need to be accessible for all of those who wanted to be a part of it, who wanted to contribute, who wanted to be part of the decision making, who wanted to share their choices through their voices. So the day one was not just a series of discussions, it was a reinformation of a shared national vision. To build Pakistan evidence infrastructure for the future, so every decision is matter, clearer, more responsive to the need of speed. When the data is there, when data is accessible, all the decision will be responsive, the decision will be fairer, and the action you are taking, that will be transparent. With that spirit, we now begin day two, ready to deepen open data and evidence-based policy, and to turn this shared momentum into lasting action. Inshallah, we will have that. So to start formally the day two, I would like now to request Kazim Salman from the Ministry of the Planning. He is the Deputy Chief in Population Section. Sir, have a stage.
Yeah, thank you, Pradesal, for this brief introduction and the wrap-up that we have had yesterday. I'll just introduce the session first, and then we'll move on to the first keynote speaker. So, ladies and gentlemen, this session would be about the demographic dividend and the youth, how the government or the UN agencies or the development partners, private sector can invest and become a contributor into the human capital, as well as investing in health, education, employment, and empowerment of women and gender issues as well. So the contours of this would be around the demographic dividend that we can explore. In Pakistan, as we know that we have got about 65% of youth at the moment, and most of it is like 20 years plus window, up to 30 years. So if we invest a great deal on this specific area of our interest, we'll be getting the benefits out of it. We share with them the dividend that we could have the human resource of the future. We could invest, we could get benefits out of it. So it would be, the discussion would be around how data for development initiative and other initiative of the government, as well as the private sector and the UN agencies and other partners, can chip in and invest and get the benefits out of it. How credible and disaggregated data can help us certain the window which is available to us to make sure that we will be getting the most benefits. How we can unlock the human capital and demographic dividend, how Pakistan can translate youth bulge into demographic dividend, how we can invest, how we can get the most outcome out of this small window that we have. I would not say this is small, this is very big, and like we're talking about like 60% of our youth at the moment, so it's a huge thing. Also, this session will focus on how we could put education to work, skills mismatches that we've got, and how we'll be coping up with certain deficiencies in our systems with regard to education, skill development, adolescent health related issues, nutrition related issues, as well as labor and several others. So without further ado, I guess this monologue will continue during the session, but let's just switch to the first keynote speaker. We've got here Dr. Mohammed Ghaznavi. Dr. Mohammed Tahir Ghaznavi, who is a Fulbright scholar and a medical degree holder. He holds a master degree in health systems management and policy from University of Colorado, Denver School of Public Health. His experience includes diverse clinical and public health background, and he's been working on gender mainstreaming, RNCH, immunization, nutrition, so it's a whole lot of things. So I would request Dr. Mohammed Tahir Ghaznavi to please come on the stage and have a keynote address.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone. Honorable colleagues, guests, I think the future of Pakistan does not rest only just in institutions, in its infrastructure, but in the people that it has, particularly the youth bulge that colleagues were talking about. This youth bulge is the only absolute majority in Pakistan. 66% young people under the age of 30. This is a gift to Pakistan. Many countries do not have, they wish to have that. This, if you invest in, you will reap the benefit of demographic dividends, but if you invest wisely. It's not automatic. It's not going to be read automatically. It demands investment in the health, in its education, in the skills, the employability, the skills that are beneficial, and also in their empowerment and their engagement. In order to do this, in order to know about this, where to invest, I think data becomes the main compass for all of us. You have seen it, you have witnessed it very recently in the floods, but also you have witnessed it in 2022 floods, in the earthquake. It was not your public institutions that reached out to the public who were affected, to the people who were affected. It was not the development entities, it was not the NGOs and not the civil society organizations. It was this youth boards that reached out to the affected population, who helped with the victims or the survivors of floods, the survivors of earthquake, and also other climate disasters, or even if there is a man-made disaster. These are the people who are the first line responders. And these are also the people who will be the innovators for this country in the future. They will be the backbone of your recovery as well. To harness this force, I think we must understand them through credible, localized, and youth-centered data. This is why Data for Development Initiative and Youth Development Index that were presented yesterday is of critical importance. This data reveals where the inequalities are. It is going to tell you which districts are falling behind in education, in schooling, where are the mothers that are young and they need care, not only in terms of health, but also for their future development. This is going to tell you where the unemployment is and where are the opportunities. Data is going to tell us where are the vulnerable communities and where are the vulnerable districts that might face these calamities again if it happens. With this insight, no young person should remain invisible. No young person should remain unheard or wasted. But evidence alone is not enough. I think we must pair this, as it was mentioned by Shahzad as well. Data needs to be paired with dignity. It needs to be paired with a policy that you are making, and that policies needs to be paired with compassion. Then planning needs to be compared with courage. I think a resilient Pakistan is one where every child receives quality education, every adolescent girl is protected and empowered, every youth has the skills to compete globally, and every community is prepared for the next shocks that might come. Human capital investment is not just development, it is resilience. This is our defense against poverty, this is our defense against inequalities, and this is also our formidable force in the face of climate vulnerabilities. example, and my friends, the demographic dividend is
open the doors for our youth as well as the rest of the Pakistan. So we've got now two of the special remarks. One is from our colleague from the government of Balochistan first, Mr. Sajid Aslam. He is an additional secretary in the Sports and Youth Affairs Department. He's representing government of Balochistan here. He's experienced public sector professional with strong background in administration, youth development initiatives, and sport governance. Mr. Sajid, if you would come on the stage. We don't have some bullshit from that. Yeah, please.
Distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, my colleagues from federal government and provincial government, our partners at UNFPA and SDTI, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Balochistan is always defined by its geography or area, but today I will ask you to define it by its demography or population. Balochistan is going through a seismic shift in a way that Pakistan would be empowered in future, or the Balochistan would deepen its fault lines. That's up to us, how we treat the data. In Balochistan, data is not just a collection of numbers. It is our most critical tool for survival and security. Census 2023 and next data show that highest population growth rate is 3.2% in Balochistan, which is more than national growth rate in Pakistan. Out of 150 million population, 65% is youth. This is not a bulge, this is a youth quake. With 2 million youth population entering the workforce of national and Pakistan annually. With density of 35 persons per square kilometer, our youth are scattered, isolated, and harder to serve. We are facing a triple crisis of education, health, and employment. Now, I will tell you few figures and facts which are alarming. Literacy rate in Balochistan is 54%. Out of school children are 56, which is around 3 million. Only 15% schools have electricity. Only 40% schools have toilets. How digital literacy is possible when there is lack of power and other basic facilities? A malnourished youth cannot be a productive youth. We all know that. Because 47% of children in Balochistan are stunted, means with low growth. 58% girls suffer anemia, and 12% girls are married before 18. And youth unemployment is rapidly growing, and it is more than 20%. Beyond these economic indicators, I must address the factor which we always miss in the data sheets, that is terrorism and instability in Balochistan. Security vacuum for 2 decades created developmental challenges, psychological trauma radicalization trap. This radicalization trap and idleness of youth was exploited in a great way by the insurgents and other radicalists. As the Additional Secretary of Sports and Youth Affairs Balochistan, we are trying our best to motivate the youth through our youth policy, which was revised in 2024. Our youth policy 24 is effective policy because every ground we make for sports and every skill we teach is a firewall against radicalization. The youth policy of Balochistan 2024 is aligned with D4D mandate. It focuses on economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, social protection, and civic engagement. Currently, a 500 million USD scheme, which is called implementation of youth policy, is underway in Balochistan. 65% is completed, 35% is remaining, which will be completed in the coming February or March. It primarily focuses on youth empowerment, women development, skill development, and digital literacy, along with other PSDP schemes of Balochistan, like DigiBiz freelancing program, youth resource centers, IT literacy, and sports activities. However, policy without data is blind. To succeed, we need this forum support in 3 specific areas. Number 1 is district level granularity. We need data that separates Quetta from Awara and Washok, because the provincial average doesn't match the rural average. In Quetta, the youth must be 60%, but in rural areas, that is 72 to 80%. Number 2 is integrated data systems. We need to link our census data with health and education system, which is called EMIS. Number 3 is digital youth registry. Sports and Youth Affairs is moving to create a digital database of our youth. We need technical support for that. Ladies and gentlemen, with demographic dividend, we are racing against time. We are ready to lead. We ask you for and will help you with data for effective decision making. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dr. Sajid. Aslam for having those wonderful remarks, and we love to hear that youth policy is being implemented in Balochistan and the entrepreneurship opportunities are being given to the youth. So we've got another special remarks, ladies and gentlemen, and that is from our colleague from Government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. He's Mr. Muhammad Abdullah Shah. He's the Additional Secretary of Sports and Youth Affairs Department. In its current role, he supports the planning, coordination, and implementation of policies and programs designed to promote sports development, youth engagement, and recreational activities across the province. Since we don't have any foreigners, so we can use Urdu as well. So I would request Mr. Muhammad Abdullah Shah take the podium, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow advocates, Assalamu alaikum. I'll not be delivering a formal speech or formal keynote, but I have gathered but I've listened to the academia and all these intelligent people and intellectuals. So I'll be reviving or telling you what I'm going to learn from here. So I'll start with a verse from Iqbal. He says that वो कल के गम व ऐश पे कुछ हक नहीं रखता, वो कल के गम व ऐश पे कुछ हक नहीं रखता, जो आज खुद अफरोज व जिगर सोज नहीं है. He who fails to plan is basically planning to fail. So मैंने जो कल से मैं सुन रहा हूँ, ये एकेडमियाज की आई हुई हैं, रिसर्चर्स भी आए हुए हैं, तो जो इस सेशन में या इस सिम्पोजियम में मेरे अंदर बीइंग एज एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी या आई बी सर्विंग इन फ्यूचर इन डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स, रियली मैं आपको बताऊं द इम्पोर्टेंस एंड सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ डेटा. ये जो बार बार हम एक जुमला सुन रहे हैं कि डेटा इज नॉट अ नंबर, तो ये अभी ज़हन में आ रहा है कि किस तरह मैं इसको, ये जो शेप भी मैं इसी से लिंक कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि डेटा के थ्रू ही हम ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन ले सकते हैं, उसकी हेट्रोजेनिटी ले सकते हैं और सब कुछ जो है ना उसके क्रॉस कटिंग थीम्स ले सकते हैं. तो उसको इम्प्लीमेंट कैसा करना है. लेट मी अगेन from the core of my heart thank the SDPI and the UNFPA, who in close coordination with the Directorate of Youth is working day and night, and especially जो policy की बात हुई अभी तो we have a youth policy in KP, but we want to revive it. वो जो जिस तरह शेक्सपियर ने कहा है कि there are many youths in the womb of time which will be delivered. With every change is like a constant law of universe. तो उसमें अभी हम लगे हुए हैं and we are grateful to UNFPA for fully supporting us. That is again based on 4 E's: engagement, employment, education, and जो बहुत important चीज है, especially हमारा सूबा खैबर पख्तूनख्वा जो से जूझ रहा है, that is environment. And recently मुझे एक मौका मिला, एक पेशावर यूनिवर्सिटी में environment based symposium था, तो उधर मैंने जो ऑब्जर्व किया या यहाँ मैं कर रहा हूँ कि अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारे जो रिसर्चर्स हैं, हमारे जो एकेडमिया हैं, इधर जो साहिबान बैठे हुए हैं उनकी नॉलेज, लेकिन बीइंग एक ब्यूरोक्रेसी का एक छोटा सा हिस्सा मैं जो फील कर रहा हूँ, जो मिसिंग लिंक जो है हर एक, मतलब कल से हम सुन रहे हैं हेल्थ पे भी काम हुआ है और पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल पे और यूथ पे, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप्स पे, लेकिन वो ट्रांसलेट नहीं हो पा रहा. तो मेरे ख्याल में मेरे जितने भी कोलीग्स बैठे हैं, खासकर ब्यूरोक्रेसी से, उनसे मेरी भी रिक्वेस्ट है और मैं भी ये अज़म करके यहाँ से जा रहा हूँ एट एनी लेवल वो जो एकेडमियाज हैं इंशाल्लाह उनको इंगेज करेंगे, जो उन्होंने दिन रात अनथक मेहनत करके वो जो रिसर्चेस की हैं उसको पॉलिसी में कैसे हम ट्रांसलेट कर सकते हैं. इसके अलावा मैं I will not bore you with the achievements of the KP government and the initiative taken for the youth, लेकिन वो आप जो हमारी एक वेबसाइट है वेल अपडेटेड होती है kpyouthAffairs.gov.in, उस पे आप देख सकते हैं. लेकिन 3-4 जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट या फ्लैगशिप प्रोग्राम्स हैं उन पे मैं जरा बात करना चाहूँगा. एहसास नौजवान प्रोग्राम is a flagship program. इसी तरह एहसास रोजगार की government has generously donated and allocated an amount of 5 billion. तो believe me आप उसमें जो success stories हैं, मतलब उसमें across the हमारी सोसाइटी फीमेल उसमें हैं, उसमें जो ट्रांसजेंडर्स भी हैं, उसमें माइनॉरिटीज हैं, मतलब 4 लड़के हैं पेशावर के, उन्होंने एक हेलमेट डिजाइन किया है जिसमें वो इन्होंने कोई प्रोग्रामिंग की है. तो आपको पता है कि ट्रैफिक के कवानीन हम वैसे ही बड़े फॉलो नहीं करते हैं, तो उसमें जो ब्लूटूथ डिवाइस है दैट विल हेल्प यू. इसी तरह और फीमेल्स हैं, किसी ने अपना गारमेंट्स का बनाया है, तो दैट इज एन एक्सीलेंट प्रोग्राम. अहूद इज आल्सो सपोर्टिंग अस इन दैट, बैंक ऑफ खैबर. इसके अलावा द बेस्ट थिंग अबाउट केपी इज यूथ अफेयर्स की मैं बात करना चाहूँगा. We have this trickle down वाली बात कि districts में we have a very good setup. We have district youth officers in all the districts across KP and including the merged areas, the ex-Sparta. So what they are doing, they are engaging the youth in all sort of activities like entrepreneurship हो गए, awareness हो गया, और सबसे जो important चीज जो especially हमारे जो merged areas है उसमें de-radicalization programs like we are arranging mushairas for madaris, sports. KP is the first province in fact जिन्होंने madaris के लिए tournament किए, and when we were engaging with them like we were feeling that they feel that they are sons of lesser God. क्योंकि वो एक मतलब हम अक्सर एक खास स्टीरियोटाइप तो करते हैं, लेकिन हमने कभी ये सोचा है कि यार ये भी हमारे बच्चे हैं, ये भी उतनी तवज्जो डिजर्व करते हैं. तो दैट वाज अगेन like so much that started from merged areas and now it has become a regular feature. और नंबर जो 3 achievement है that is the जवान मराकज. We are establishing जवान मराकज across KP. जितने भी हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं इंक्लूडिंग अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वजीरिस्तान का जो इलाका है उधर भी हमने शुरू किया है, उनमें इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स हैं. और रिसेंटली विद द हेल्प ऑफ UNFPA जिस तरह आप पूरे मुल्क का एक डिजिटल हब वो यूथ का बना रहे हैं, तो इंशाल्लाह उधर डिस्ट्रिक्ट से ही वो लिंक होंगे और उनकी एक्टिविटीज होगी. इसके अलावा जो मैं एक वो भी साथ लाया हूँ मंथली प्रोग्रेस रिव्यू हमारी होती है, एंगेज बहुत करते हैं खासकर प्लांटेशन ड्राइव्स में जिसमें बच्चे और जवान बहुत बढ़ चढ़ कर हिस्सा लेते हैं, बड़ा उनका जबरदस्त होता है. तो मकसद ये है आखिर में कहने का, एज डॉक्टर गजनवी सेड कि नो वन शुड बी वेस्टेड. इन द वर्ड्स ऑफ इकबाल दैट हर फर्द है मिलत के मुकद्दर का सितारा. क्या मतलब कोई टैलेंटेड हो, उसमें एक जज्बा हो, लेकिन उसको वो प्लेटफॉर्म न मिले. So being a representative of the government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, inshallah, I assure you that we will try our level best. और दूसरी बात ये कि सबसे बड़ी बात जो अवेयरनेस मुझ में इंकलकेट हुई है, मेरी डायरेक्टरेट जो है यूथ की, दैट इज ऑलरेडी वर्किंग विद डॉक्टर मुकद्दर शाह साहब, साहिद अमीन साहब, वेरी क्लोज. मैं इनवाइट भी करता हूँ आपको इंशाल्लाह ताला. नेक्स्ट मंथ जो है वो शायद जो हमारे पिशावर में जो बड़ा जवान मरकज we have at the moment, लेकिन पूरा youth hub बना रहे हैं पूरे province के लिए, and that is like बिल्कुल in the center of the city. So inshallah I will be inviting you all. और academia से मेरी personal वो है कि inshallah I will be engaging, my department will be engaging कि जो researches आपने की हैं, जो आपने मेहनत की है, उनको हम practically कैसे translate कर सकते हैं. तो बहुत thank you once again for all listening to me. And Pushre, have a nice day, Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you so much, Mohammad Abdullah Shah Sahab. He is the National Secretary of Sports and Youth Affairs. He talked about the youth policy that is being implemented in KP. He talked about ODs, noise areas, and de-radicalization policies. And there's a fresh way, to hear from KP. So we've got a panel discussion now. It will be a moderated panel discussion, and I request our more the discussion partners to come on the stage one by one. I'll invite them. I think starting from Dr. Mohammad Arif, GM Arif Saab, he's the Senior Technical Advisor, Population Council, Islamabad. He's the former Joint Director of FIGHT. So and here in FIGHT, he has headed the Poverty and the Labour Market Division. He was also the President of Population of Pakistan Council, I guess, or PAPS 2020 and 2022 session. We've got our second panelist, very close to my heart, Dr. Nayab. If you could come on the stage itself. He is the leading Pakistani demographer and youth policy expert. He had served as Joint Director and Director of Research in the FIGHT. And then we've got my all-round fellow and buddy and like a big brother, he's Dr. Jatin Manwar. He could come on the stage as well. He is the Deputy Project Director of Prime Minister's Initiative on Jinnah Medical Complex and Research Center. He is a development expert essentially. I hope you fit on that. Yeah, he's also a public sector development expert, strategic planning, he's worked in strategic planning, public policies, human capital development as well. And he has held several senior management position and advisory position with both the government as well as the UN agencies. And then last but not the least, Dr. Alia Hashim Khan. She's a retired professor of economics. And former dean faculty of social sciences, Qaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. She's currently a member of Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council as well. So with this brief introduction, I guess we'll move now to the moderated discussion. First things first, GMRF Sabya. First question from you, sir. We've been told that we are pressed by time, so I request our worthy panelists to keep it short and crisp. So what question I've got is here is that we've got youth bulge, we've got this this huge population to deal with. What policy investments or
question that I also received this question last night from previous. The question is that how to convert youth from liability to economic and social. It's a very good and very interesting, challenging question. It means that some segments of the population, and maybe particularly the society as they go, or the government of Pakistan, or the professional government, or we as the people of Pakistan who think youth as a liability. To understand the liability, I think the good example is yesterday PIE answer. When anything is liability, we don't invest on liability. We just try to get rid of the liability. I think it's just an example that we invest on asset. So we have question is that the first thing my submission is that we need to change our thought process and start considering youth not a liability, rather we need to consider youth as a economic and social asset. And I'm very glad to listen to representative from Pakistan and also the state. That both they have given us many, I think, schemes and incentives for youth to invest them and to not to consider them as a liability, rather to consider them as an economic and social asset for themselves, for their household, and for the society as a whole. If we change our this mindset and we consider that these are the youth are the set for us, then we need to make some investment on our youth and on our particularly both male and female. In just keeping this short time in mind, I have two things in my mind. Rosalis have also discussed briefly about this issue. That the investment we need to make on youth, particularly to enhance their productivity and education. These are the two key things. One is the productivity, and other is that they are productive and they make a smooth transition to the labor market. And if you can if one to increase the productivity, the two key things are education and skill. Government of Pakistan, federal level and provincial government, they have several schemes, but we have not seen the benefits of these. So the first thing is the productivity, and the second thing is that there's a smooth transition to the labor market. But youth employment is generally high, educated youth are more unemployed than the other people, so the situation are not I have three areas, three suggestions for the policymaker. You may differ with me, but I think Pakistan has at movements, not everything is not bad. We have many good things as well. And we need to move forward. And particularly for this youth and making them as a economic and social. These three things, in my opinion, you may differ with me. The first is the three-picking initiative. I don't know, but we need to make our youth part of this initiative where it is working. We see the program of the CPN, agriculture is there, industry is there, IT is there, service sector is there. It means that we need to engage our youth when we create any opportunity under this. Second thing, I have been working on this one for a long time, is the overseas migration. Many colleagues sitting in this state, they may consider this overseas migration as a brain drain, but in my humble opinion, it is not a brain drain for Pakistan. We can convert this one into a brain drain. It is a good opportunity for our youth to provide them information and to give them productive employment where it is available within the country or maybe outside. But the main thing in overseas migration is that we need to when they come back, we need to use their skill and to enhance entrepreneurship in the country. We consider one-side migration, that the 800,000 people are going every year to the Middle East. But we don't consider that the 600,000 or 700,000 people, they are also coming back in after completing their contract. If you see the two-way flow, more people have come back after working in these areas than the currently people are working over there. We don't have any data. And this is D4D, data for development. I think it's a very, we need this information that the people who have some experience of working abroad, what they are doing, we need to change them into an interpreter. And many countries, particularly China and also India, to some extent Bangladesh, they have done this one. They have created some hubs of these people and made some investment on it. And the third area which I would argue is the taking the benefit of this growing urbanization effort. Urbanization is a good opportunity of shifting the labor, particularly youth, from low productivity areas to the high productivity. If we can combine these three things, keeping overseas migration, urbanization with our youth, I hope that what the government initiative have already done, we can convert this our youth population and economic system. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was really impressive, sir. Investing in three areas, CPAC, overseas migration and urbanization. For Dr. Durin, I need you to be crisp on this. For the millions that who do not follow the traditional academic path, particularly the tertiary education system, how can we really build an high impact national skills ecosystem? Because Dr. GMI also talked about skill migration as well and overseas migration. So how can we integrate vocational training like digital influence, fluency and entrepreneurship into the whole chemistry of it.
Again, thank you for that, and CPI. And I thank my Chris, we quick. Okay, so the quick answer is that, less than 10% of the Pakistanis have tertiary education, but the system gives an impression as if it's built around those who are educated. So, I think the whole notion has to change. Without skills, I mean, people even going through tertiary education to schools, they leave the institute without skills. I think unless the industry, I would even be wider into employers. Unless the employers are involved in the whole planning, we are not getting anywhere. So the solution is that employers should be part of the plan. They should be the ones who should tell what kinds of skills are needed, how many people they can hire, and even what kind of pay they can offer so that people exactly know what kind of payoff they can get if they get a certain skill. Coming to the training institutes, I mean, I just did a quick survey and there are over 4,000 training institutes in Pakistan. Even there's a whole skill university in Islamabad. But sadly, they are giving skills that they can, not the skills that they should. They are outdated skills. They need to integrate with the industry. Those giving skills are not integrated with the industry, and we get to see that people are not getting employment. I'm not getting into the figures. I mean, the unemployment rates are high for the young people. I mean, if I just take the 15 to 24 age group, female labor force participation is just 23%, 23.3, out of which 13.2, out of these 13.2 are unemployed. So the gender dynamics are really bad. It's not exactly a youth-friendly country. I remember when I was working at PIE, we made a small documentary that Pakistan is not a country for young people. They don't have, I mean, just imagine, Arif Saab talked about urbanization. Imagine somehow a village boy or a girl gets educated and is in search of a job in an urban area. Where would that person live? There are no places for them to live. So we need to look at this in a very, very integrated way. I mean, the industry has to be involved. The training institutes have to see what kind of skills they need. And talking about digital literacy. Well, to me, digital literacy now is like what we once thought that literacy is about reading and writing. Digital literacy is part of basic literacy now. So irrespective of whether a person is going to be involved in the IT industry or not, digital literacy is a must. I mean, whether that person is going to be a tailor or a mason or a carpenter, that person needs to know how to use a smartphone, how to send an email, how to sell his or her products online. I mean, these skills are like an essential skills in the labor market now. And adding to training, I mean, yes, the skills that are needed, along with that, use the skills that how they can reach the market, how to price their product. I mean, if you just ask me, even I can't price a product I make. How to price a product, how to create a market for it, how to reach a customer. This is also part of training. So, I mean, if you look especially for females, training means give them a sewing machine, teach them how to embroider. No, I think the world has gone way beyond this. The skills need to be updated, and digital literacy is a must, and integrate all of them in together. These can't work in silos anymore. I was stressed. Thanks.
Yeah, that was really wonderful to hear all these things, And the gender angle to it is very important, ladies and gentlemen. But Dr. Johnson is a public health guru, so I've tried to rather shift the attention towards how illness can be treated, proactive national youth policy on wellness basically, and nutrition as well as mental health. So, what are your comments that how can we inculcate these things into national policy and improve the workforce productivity and social stability?
Well, thank you so much, Khalid. It's always really good when I talk about development, especially population, and we're looking forward to you. So let me actually dissect two things. One is your policy and system reforms, and one is your existing government systems, fiscal systems, and the 18th Amendment and the role of provinces in these particular areas when you talk of illness, nutrition, health, or whatever the development. So these are two. First, I will talk about the first aspect of what is happening, what the provinces are doing, and how they can further do it well in these areas. Let's further dissect the population into various subgroups. The need of the mothers when the child is in the womb is different. For the first 3 years is different, 14 years is different, and then adolescent is different, and then above 35 is slightly. It has number of compounding relationship, starting from education, curriculum and teaching, making system available, and educating them through number of resources and number of channels that are in place, social media or whatever. Another thing is what is already in place, knowing where what is wrong. For example, in pregnancy, only anemia and maternal nutrition can affect on the child development for the rest of the life. And if we ignore only the pregnant women, you can invest number of initiatives, but the result will not be optimal. So the child is born stunted, you have 55%, and there will be a lot of other cognitive issues. As the child grows, become first 4 years, 3 years, and then the mental development, the environment within the house and the education of the mothers. That's another major driver of the productive youth that we are trying to harvest. If we don't focus that part, you will still not get the optimum results. And then school aid, the school nutrition programs, the poverty-driven initiatives that target those areas where there is stunting, where women are not educated, not empowered, and similarly, other mortality trends are very high. So that's one dimension which provinces needs to now focus. And then using this lens of data, because one question in the morning was, how data can tell you? So I think the question is, let's say Waziristan, Khoistan, Patram, Kaladaka in KP, and then the Parker in another area. So your data should tell you through regular means, not survey data, a regular, ongoing, systematic data, point in time available that village A is having woman, this much anemia, this much HD, and this much child dying. And then you have 10 rupees. Now, next month, maybe you have only 5 rupees. And this is how the IMF 44 program is going. With the development I mentioned, PhD funding 3.4 coming down to 0.8 in 4 years, trillion. We further will be reducing it for development programs. ADP will also shift with the new NFC award, the distribution formulas. The federal is asking provinces to come more for the tax collection so that you can improve your funding collection mechanism. That's one end, and it can goes up to the productive time when the women are getting married, when the boys are getting married, and then when they're performing into the jobs. And at that time, Another factor which is badly ignored is your mental health. I mean, how many of us, when we go to the offices, feel relaxed? No. You know, this is a hidden burden of 55%.
Yeah, exactly.
The 55% of the cognitive burden, which is directly affecting your productivity. And this is how these small factors add on to the youth dividend. It's not only giving them one skill in one time or give them a job in another time, it's a whole compounding movement, a whole compounding shift is required. And for that shift, policy is the other action that you mentioned. There are a number of policies in place, youth policies, youth development, the TEFTA reforms, fiscal efficiencies, SARS program, business income support program. The question again comes, are we able to move out a poverty-driven family in last 10 years through those initiatives? I have my doubts on that. Oxford Policy Press number of times says these small grants, monthly based, quarterly based, are not going to drive you out of that. So what is that one system that a country can use for this population, the youth dividend or whatever you call it, is your social protection, which has cross-cutter enablers. When you have a tax system, contributory, non-contributory, you have an education support, you focus one family who's poor, malnourished, mentally sick, unemployed, bring it out of the poverty in 3 years, 4 years. That is the maximum gain when I use this paradigm of illness, mental health, and nutrition. I will not talk about the others because I can talk hours and hours on this. It's my favorite subject. But yeah, that's what my take is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jaskan. Yeah, so he talked about the poverty graduation, and we've got economics professor as well on the panel. So to Dr. Alia, my question would be, the formal economy cannot create enough jobs for the youth as we speak. So what bold initiatives or regulatory reforms would you recommend to make entrepreneurship and SME growth the primary engine of youth development rather than it is in a fallback position at this point in time? Ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. When I received the guiding note yesterday, I remembered a late professor of mine at Qasim University who said that, or used to say that whenever you attend a public forum such as this, you should think of what value can you add to the discussion. So I made that the guiding light for all my interventions, always try to do. So I'm going to talk of a topic which we have not really tackled since yesterday. When we say data for development, we are not really addressing the macroeconomic picture of Pakistan and linking the need to mainstream all the youth indicators that we have been discussing since yesterday, the youth index, the latest data on youth from the recently launched labor force survey 24-25, the economic census 2023 on establishments, which is very related to the question that I have been asked, because the disproportionate number of establishments and enterprises in Pakistan are in what is called the informal economy. They are what we call SM, small, medium, and micro enterprises, MSMEs. So how do we address this issue of youth NEET, which is youth not in employment, not in education, employment and training, I'm sure you've heard this figure, 21 million youth between the ages of 15 and 29, which is the definition that Pakistan uses, are not in education, employment, or training. Where are they? What are they doing? We can talk from morning till night about the success of macroeconomic stabilization under the IMF program in the country. But if there are these idle youth sitting somewhere in pockets of Pakistan, how can we search them out? How can we put them into education, not formal education, because, they might have crossed all the thresholds for that, but how do we skill them? How do we train them to at least take on what is called self-employment or own account work or entrepreneurship, which, by the way, has seen an increase among youth in the latest labor force survey. So what I'm trying to do is teasing out some very important data which, if we do not really focus on at the macro policy level, and now there is a whole debate of developing pro-employment macro policies. And what are pro-employment macro policies? For example, what does monetary policy have to do with data for development and the youth issue that we have been debating? It has a lot to do with it, because especially if you talk of financial inclusion, if you talk of access, financial access to SMEs, it has everything to do with youth development. But do we look at it through that spectrum? No, not really. We have to start looking at this issue of youth development through the prism of macroeconomic policy making. What does fiscal policy have to do? If youth does not get productively employed, as Dr. Arif and Dr. Durinayab said, through education, through training, through skill development, then Pakistan will never be able to generate enough tax revenues. Where does taxation come from? It comes from economic activity. If youth is not harnessed and not, equipped to be included in the economic growth trajectory process of Pakistan, then the fiscal policy parameters will become stricter and stricter. And much as we want to get rid of the IMF programs, we really cannot think of a world without IMF. So the point is that we have to, youth development or youth policies are fine. As standalone policies, they should be developed, they should have a plan of action, they should be implemented. And we've heard very good examples of youth policies from Balochistan and KB in this session only. But we need to start questioning where is youth in the whole macroeconomic framework of Pakistan, in the whole planning and development framework of Pakistan. And Kazim, you are the Deputy Chief of Population at the Planning Commission. Maybe you can take this message to the Planning Commission that they need to use the data generated on youth indicators. Another important piece of information is that the gender gap among the NEET population, NEET youth population, is very high in terms of females being a much larger proportion of NEET youth as compared to male youth. I know that I'm taking time, but I think it is important for us to go deep into the data and bring out the indicators that can be mainstreamed across macroeconomic policy frameworks in Pakistan. So this is my message from this panel today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Alia. She talked about macroeconomic policies framework concerning youth development and involvement of youth in the mainstreaming, the macroeconomic policy as well and the fiscal policy. So I've just confirmed from Farah, we've got time for like one question. If anybody in the audience would like to have a question, yeah, so you please. Kindly also mention to whom you are asking the question. Do we have a mic? Very small question, please. Just 2 minutes. We've got just 2 minutes. गुजर गए हैं वो 3 सेकंड तो माइक मिलने में गुजर गए हमारे 2 ले लें होते हैं
A female youth member should prepare herself for a question because I am not leaving this hall unless I hear a female voice. Yesterday, the whole day we tried to get questions from the youth, especially the students, and no one asked a question. But you see, this is the issue. You have to voice your concerns in such forums so that you are heard.
Mohammed Adnan from Global Climate Change Impact Study Center. Thank you for valuable discussion. My question is very simple. My question is very simple and about the growing challenges faced by Pakistan youth. In this context, how can data-driven policies help reduce unemployment and address skill mismatch in Pakistan, particularly at provinces?
To whom you are asking this question? Which of the panelists? Or all of them?
All of them, anyone.
We don't have time for all of them, unfortunately. Okay. So
Nazim, don't keep saying we don't have time because we need time to discuss all
actually,
this.
they are pressing me, so I'm pressing them. Yeah.
Question है तो वो तो मैं कहूँगा कि पूरे दिन में it covers the whole theme. You cannot dress policies without the data. You need data to know what is the situation, unemployment situation, need the data, what is the situation of the skill level in Pakistan. And this data driven means that I remember I did an exercise about 4 or 5 years back to check the youth unemployment in Balochistan. And then what I found from the labor force data that it was basically the metric pass and inter pass children or our boys and girls who are unemployed in Balochistan at a large scale. So this is the data which gives you information that what type of people they need and skill you want to give and how you can make their smooth entry in the labor market. I think so the data, particularly for employment and the skill, it is a key for policy makers and even for every you can say aspect of life. Thank you.
So we can have one more question.
So thank you very much, sir. This is Nisar Husani. I'm Director of Operations at Punjab Disaster Management Authority. And
Any female would like to raise a question here. We've got gender parity here.
I can voluntarily drop myself here and it will raise the hand and then she can ask the question. So is there
We'll make
any?
another person. Yeah. Sir, please continue.
You can give one to us. Okay.
Please continue.
So, my question is very simple, and why I basically been part of this type of discussions in the past for many years. And the people like you, we have a legacy of the people over here, and we are always talking about from the scratches like the data development, data conceptualization, data-driven policies, and but why not we are focusing on the foundation? Foundation is why the youth is basically coming and creating a bulge. And why not the academia could be in line with the industry? Why the industry is not sitting with the academia? Why you people are not collaborating with the industry? How many industries people are over here? How many experts from the who are working basically, many people are working in the silos. We don't have any platform. If we are basically talking about the NAPTEC things and the TAPTEC things, we are also remodeling the things day by day. From the decade, we are basically just reinventing the wheel, and we are not basically, we are sitting like this forums in the years regularly on this. So why your people who are sitting under this group or not have a collective wisdom, so that we have a one-pager dossier, so that we can basically present to the government and government can basically focus on that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I would like to respond to that first. I'm sorry, I'm not a panelist, but Dr. Jasim will bail me out. We have this internship program that we implemented in the Ministry of Planning, and we were the pioneers in that implementation phase when we spoke to like 500 companies of Pakistan, and we took them on our pool, and they were multinationals, they were development partners, they were like government entities, private sector entities, IT companies, and we placed like 1,500 graduates in that. So we created that window of opportunity for the youth to come in, chip in, and then get the best out of themselves while working in those superior organizations that are listed also on the stock exchange. So the government is doing something, but probably they are not doing it correctly. So that is why these forums are organized, basically. Over to you, Dr. Jason.
Let us very quickly explain your question again, answer it in a slightly different. The question is many years the foundation is weak, and what actually tangibly being done, and where is the industry connect? 3 areas, right? So sometime each action has its own value in terms of creating an environment. And this is how number of small things create a momentum to start pushing a very big stone in our way. So it is happening in various ways, and Madam is saying macroeconomic, very rightly saying, and the reflection is visible in shape of your whether GDP is stable or not, whether your FDI is improving or not, whether your youth employment rate is going higher or not. So number of macroeconomic pictures tell you if these small things are working or not. So the data picture from creation of Pakistan to right now is improved a lot. Fragmentation is improved. Now the question is making that data more conclusive, more comprehensive. Like Nadra data set have if poverty indicators, health indicators, economic indicators, and civil registration is more enriched and making it available to everyone, de-identified data, so that you all can use that data and the industry can bring in those resources. So sometimes we are not aware of the thing, but as my friend Kazim is saying, he's the pioneer, and we both launched the first ever youth program, the 60,000 internships. And that was, connect of the youth with the industry. And that's still happening in Pakistan now. But maybe we are not in that picture. So that's how the paradigm is shifted. So now the critical mass of this issue in Pakistan, we need to create this momentum by such people who are living you're sitting in this room and you over there and the industry. All of us needs to push this. So I'm pretty sure next 5 to 10 years, 20 years, things will definitely change for this country, inshallah.
Yeah, we'll have one more question from female only.
Yes, sir. I would also request Kazim Saab to ask one question from female और उर्दू में पूछें, कोई female उर्दू में पूछें.
Yeah,
ये barrier को हटाते हैं, उर्दू में बात करें.
I think she over there is also raising hand. One last question. Sir, you were responding to
we are not seeing any improvement in the last 40 or 50 years. Issue सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि हम अपनी यूथ को कैसे लिंक करें इंडस्ट्री के साथ। डेटा आपको ये बताता है कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री की जो कंडीशन है वो बहुत किस्मत, इवन एग्रीकल्चर से भी लोअर है। हम अर्बन देश से पहले क्यों नहीं उठा? Basically, we have shifted directly from agriculture to services sector, and services sector is our income. तो सिर्फ यही इशू नहीं है कि ये लीकेजेस क्रिएट करें, वो इंडस्ट्री को देखने की बड़ी जरूरत है। कल के अंदर आर्टिकल है मैं देखा, और अब लोग आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस, सो दिस इज ब्यूटी ऑफ द डेटा कि जी अब तो बहुत फोकस है कि जी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान should focus on this industrial sector, manufacturing sector. We need a very vibrant industrial and manufacturing.
Ma'am, your question, please, finally.
Assalamu alaikum, Sophia Ahmed from Center for Labor Research. I would like to make a comment and then I'll ask a question.
Yeah, please.
Okay. I would like to say that jobless growth, insufficient creation of entry-level employment opportunities, and restrictive labor legislations, I think at this point was missing from our discussion, that the labor laws, they also need change, are the key constraints to hiring youth in the country. And typically, government policies and programs focus on the supply side, such as skills training. However, a major constraint is a modest demand for youth labor. Now, coming to my question, given a female need rate about 55% and the female labor force participation around 24%, as Dr. Durenayab mentioned, what concrete labor market reforms beyond skills and training are we planning to address harassment, unpaid care, and discriminatory hiring?
I don't think I got government to respond here. You could respond, yeah.
I think what I tried to say was that we need to look at this issue in a more holistic manner. And I mean, the State Bank of Pakistan is also trying to modify the regulatory framework to promote the development of the small and medium enterprise sector, which is considered the engine of employment growth in any lower to middle income country. And also, I think what you are pointing out towards, Sobia, is a move towards formalization. Now, we know that the bulk of employment and enterprise activity in Pakistan is in the informal sector, and since the public sector is shrinking, the growth of jobs is mostly seen in the private sector, but the job growth is of low quality. That is very evident because educated youth unemployment rate is higher than less educated youth unemployment rate. So these issues have to be addressed in different ways. So not only a standalone youth policy can resolve this. We have to look at the financial sector issues, the trade sector issues. You are hearing a lot about how Pakistan's growth path is stalling. We are in a low growth trap. Now, to get Pakistan out of this low growth trap, we have to make use of this underutilized youth population somehow, because that is our asset. But if that is not tied with export policy, then it's not going to happen. So I think the more that we recognize the importance of the forums such as Data for Development, the less it is, because I think this is exactly the kind of discussion that needs to be elevated to the highest level for it to really add to the sort of the robust measures that are needed to get Pakistan out of the low growth trajectory. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to add
we are also working with the UNFPA and some other stakeholders for the demographic dividend framework and policy making. It was designed to bridge the gap, and we are also engaging all of the stakeholders in this regard as well. Are we done with the time, or we've got just 30 seconds each? Yeah, so I would request all of my panelists to reflect in just 30 seconds on the entire scenario that we've built, starting with Dr. Jason.
Well, 30 seconds is tight, but one common thing I would say is, each one of us needs to do our own bit within our own sphere and within our own resources and within our own capacities. And this is how the augmenting effect will be created to actually deliver this dividend for our economic benefit and our future survival. Thank you.
One sentence, we all need to change our mindset. We think that the youth in our research, not in the.
Yeah, that was less than 30.
Stop thinking and working in silos, think holistically. And I think regarding youth, consider three words in mind: capability, employability, and agency. Youth need agency as well. Thank you.
I would say that the cost of not addressing the issue of utilization of the youth potential in Pakistan is really hurting the Pakistan economy. And the sooner that we address it in a cross-cutting manner across all economic policies and make the issue of youth a centrality in our economic, macroeconomic framework, the better it would be for Pakistan.
Thank you very much. I think I will just wrap up everything that was said by the panelists. Well, I think we all know Pakistan will be among the top 5 or top 10 countries that is going to provide the human resources, not for only Pakistanis, to be separate to Europe, to Middle East, and to many countries around the world. The number of engineers, doctors, nurses that Pakistan is producing, no country in Europe is producing. And you will see that in the future, this human resource is going to serve that. I think there has to be conditions, regulations that need to be prepared in this country to regulate this process, and so that this country can benefit from this. This is one thing. Overall, these big bolts of youth, the 60% and more, will have to be invested on. They are the ones that are kept in silos. And then particularly women and girls. I think if we bring women and girls, empower them, educate them, and they become this part of these innovators who are going to come in the future to serve this country, to become part of also this skilled labor force that we are going to introduce to this world, and to be an educated workforce, we need to bring these girls into education institutions, into the labor force, into the skill development workforce. This is another area. Colleagues mentioned that we have to invest in the health of mothers. I think sexual and reproductive health is really important. You have to invest in mother's health when she's pregnant, even before she's pregnant and after the pregnancy. And you have to invest, I think, in the first 1,000 days of the nutrition of the child, so that you have a healthy individual for the future. The other thing is the employability, and I think I do agree with Dr. Ghulam Muhammad Arif's 3 points that he mentioned, that you have to engage them in productivity, which again is investment in education, investment in the skills, training of these laborers. But on the engagement, this youth population that is there, who is hearing their voice? Is there a mechanism at the country level? There are countries that I can give you examples that they have a pseudo parliament for the young people, for the young population, where they get selected, they come to that parliament, and that parliament plays a very important role of advocating for the issues that youth is facing with the policymakers, with the politicians, and those who are in the executive force and implementing those policies that are affecting the life of the youth and but also their future. So I think that kind of a platform is also needed here so that they can come together, they can plan, they can pass it on to the executive authority or to the policymakers here, but also they can advocate for the needs that they have. I think that platform is needed, and this is if we engage youth, I think then we will become a youth-friendly country. This is what was mentioned here, and I think it is important if we have a mechanism of listening to them. So in order to know that, investment in data and I think regular production of youth profiles across the country regarding the indices that are there, and then publishing analytical reports, policy briefs, advocacy briefs, and empowering youth so that they can advocate for those advocacy briefs. I think that is an important area. We need to prioritize investment on the youth-related data system and also institutionalize evidence-based policies that can strengthen the youth population of Pakistan. I think that's it from my section.
Of the discussion, entire discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this we conclude this session. I would thank my panelists for being here with us, and putting that awareness session for the youth as well as for the adults as well. So, with this we conclude this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll hand over it to Dr. Sajid, I guess. Yeah.
बॉक्सेस पिक्चर और मुझे हमेशा अच्छे और मुश्किल ऐलानात के लिए गया कि मैं आपको चाय के लिए इनवाइट करूं, और साथ ही बताऊं कि 10 मिनट हैं. जॉइन अस बैक. थैंक यू सो वेरी मच. आइए प्लीज आप चाय लीजिए, हम तब तक जरा हाजिरी लगा लें अपने पैनलिस्ट की, और we'll see you back. We will be starting 12:15. So let's have 15 minutes break so that you can enjoy your tea. So please don't join us. Thank you.